The spike cam changes the game in personal protection strategy, but it is important to understand what it can and cannot do. It does have its limitations, but it also has excellent strategy. For women concerned with preserving femininity and personal style, it can be worn with your everyday fashion. It's small enough to not look masculine, but large enough to provide some visual deterrence. It can be worn in various applications. I do not recommend it for use with formal attire as its profile will not be subtle. You'll have to source a more discreet camera for evening gowns. I won't rate the camera as I never received the 360 clip and I'm absolutely mad about that. This is a spike cam body cam available on Amazon.com. Quick run through. Power on. Top button.
Power on.
Left side. Record button. Button underneath of it. Press it. You should see red on the screen. Okay. Now you want to take a photo. The second button on the other side. So that is, there you go, photo. Do it again. Second button on the other side. Okay. That's that button right there for the photo. And then this other button, I'm gonna stop recording. This other button is like a SOS, I think. Hold up. SOS. Oh no, that's voice recording. I'm gonna use that. Being an artist. SOS, this is fun. SOS. Bottom button. Right side. The thing I don't like is this feature does not, only the light comes on, I believe, when you're recording. I'll try now. When you're recording, it does not do that. It only does the light. This right here moves, by the way. This is the actual camera, so be careful with it because I didn't know when I was opening it first. That's the camera. Okay, so I'm gonna record and I'm gonna do the SOS thing, but it's not gonna work all the way. So remember, record button. That's this button right here, the other one. Record. Second button on the top is recording. Now I'm gonna try to do the SOS. It only does the light. That's disappointing. I'm gonna try to find one that actually does the SOS and the sound with the recording still going. I mean, why not? Turn the recording off. Turn the recording on. Quickly review this to see if I actually want to erase it. That's going to be the play button in the center. Okay, I'm fine with erasing this. Okay, so I'm going to stop it. Okay, it's so fast, I didn't have to stop it. So I'm going to long press this button to give me the option to delete. Long press it. Now I have the option to delete. I'm going to press the center button to delete. And that deletes it. Okay. All right, let me show you again. I'm going to press center button to select this. Actually, I'll go ahead and erase it. So long press this button right here. It gives me the option. I'm gonna press center button for yes. And now that it's deleted. What if I want to go back? I press this second button. So go back. And what if I want to check to see if I have audio? I'll press, I think it's this button right here. It's going to audio. Press center button for enter. And then, yep. What if I want to erase it? I'll press this long term. What if I don't want to erase it and I want to go back? Once again, this button right here. That's the second button. But what if I change my mind? Realistically, though, you're going to want to have more than a simple body cam for preliminary security strategies. So let's get into that. So this is the Blackwell family preliminary security strategy. The pros of this strategy is it's a gauntlet, so it yields time allowance for our family in case there is ever a security issue. It's neurodivergent friendly strategy. The cons are it lacks lethal enforcement if the dogs are neutralized, especially, and there's a potential to be trapped in the master bedroom, which our family utilizes for the most of our living in the home. My final assessment for this is for others, if you feel as though it is a good match for you, I would suggest a firearm for neurodivergent, and you can have for non-neurodivergent placement. And then for some neurodivergent, it would be fine to have a firearm that's going to be between you and your safety consultant for your unique situation. But I would suggest that to prevent, according to your comfort level, and if you have a capable firearm handler, then I would rate it excellent. I don't rate our security measures excellent, but I rate them as satisfactory for the time being. So you'll see I listed this floor plan that I created, and it has 4 different quadrants. So if you draw your eye to quadrant number 1, okay, so quadrant number 1 is located in the top left-hand side of the floor plan. You'll see the front door. At the front door, we have our German Shepherd dog. He likes to be at the front door, posted, like he'll be there for a lot of the time. He can go, sometimes as he wants to stretch his legs out and stuff, but he'll spend a lot of time at the actual front door. As you can see, he's a service/guard dog. He has more than one purpose. That's his typical sleeping area and resting area. This is good for home security and elopement discouragement. If you don't know what elopement discouragement is and you have no neurodivergent in your household, then that is absolutely fine. If you do, you probably know what that is. In regards to this front door, we also have a ring camera established here. It's actually the first front line of home security system. It provides a visual deterrence, and I actually tried to clean. You're not going to believe it, but it's a thing. Can be a little bit of a neat freak. I tried to clean the peephole a couple of years ago, and for like a couple of years we haven't been able to utilize it because it got foggy after I tried to clean it. Now we have a superior system. I'm really happy about that. I feel like I made the right choice for my family. I feel I made a responsible choice. So the ring camera also not only functioning as the peephole, but way better, much better actually. So now we're coming out on top with that. So that's a W for our family. It also provides some liability protection for our canine, our German Shepherd dog, who is one of the first lines of home defense there. So you kind of can't trespass into the home at all without getting past the ring cam. If you've been following my channel, and if you haven't, I have listed there is a bizarre and very unfortunate situation which the ring cam, while I'm using it for some liability protection for our canine and first line of defense, it does go out at extremely inopportune times where key pieces of evidence are missed. So I said in previous videos, and I'll say in this one, I do not recommend that you rely on the ring camera as your sole source of evidence because it will fail. So if you look at quadrant number 3. So quadrant number 3 is located at the bottom left hand side of the floor plan. in this quadrant, you'll see this is where the canine kennel is located. Now it's all within the same living room. We're still quadrant number 1 and quadrant 3 is still the living room. And this is where he spends a lot of his time. It's the largest room actually. So him being very large, it's a good place for him. So he gets pretty much the whole living room as well as the kitchen, but he spends most of his time in the living room, where this large area is. And that's where his kennel is located. He can easily bust through this kennel to provide any type of intervention necessary. And he has actually done it already. And it was purely by accident, because he got excited at feeding time one time and he busted through the kennel. So he can do that. So even if he is secured for delivery purposes, etc., maintenance purposes, he can at any time, which I consider a good thing. He can and will bust through it if he needs to intervene for any reason. Now you'll see also in quadrant 3 behind the canine kennel, that we have a vulnerable large window area. So his placement is actually superb in my opinion. God is gracious. God is good. So now you have quadrant. Let me draw your eye to quadrant number 4. Pardon the phone noise. Let me draw your eye to quadrant number 4. So this is if there was to be an intrusion through the front door. This is the quadrants. The reason why I'm taking you to this is the gauntlet style quadrants that the intruder would have to pass, or intruders. So they would have to get through quadrant 1. They would have to get through quadrant 3. Then they would have to get through quadrant 4. So quadrant 4 is leading into the hallway. So provided that they were able to breach quadrant 1 and quadrant 3, they're currently now in quadrant 4. We do not have a dog in the bedroom. Bedroom, and in this bedroom, but we might install a canine, but it will have to be a special kind. As you can see, we have a question mark by canine. We already have a placement. We have a kennel there, and everything, but it will have to be a special kind of dog, So we have a barred window there, so that's good. It's a window, but it's barred completely, so that's good. And that is bedroom. That is the hallway. So you have the hallway, and the bedroom right there is at the hallway. So if we install a canine, that would be 2 canines and 2 barriers. But so far that is not in existence. It's not fruition. It is not a thing. That dog does not exist. So there's currently 1 that the intruder has passed. If they've gotten through quadrant 1 and 3, they are currently now in the hallway and walking past bedroom, the first bedroom door number 1. The first bedroom, and this is door number 2. And we utilize it mostly for a storage area. So you will more than likely, the intruder will not have any access to any loved ones still. There is a closet right there, and there is a bathroom right there. Okay. And the bathroom is door number 3. Okay. So now we're into the most valuable quadrants. Okay, so that's quadrant number 2 and quadrant number 4. Quadrant number 2 being at the top right hand side of the floor plan, and quadrant number 4 being at the bottom right hand side of the floor plan. If you draw your eye to quadrant number 4 and 2, quadrant number 4 is where a American Pit Bull Terrier that thinks everyone but his beloved family are zombies, and he will probably fight for his life as well as his beloveds. He sleeps right at the sleeping area. He can easily be let out, but it's not necessarily. He can also easily, and has several times actually, unlike the German Shepherd, he's hard-headed. He's busted out of his kennel several times. Now you may be wondering about liability there, because we do live in a apartment. Okay, well, both of our dogs are trained. No, they are not exceptionally trained, and they are absolutely not trained to be vicious. Even though the American Pit Bull Terrier does not like people outside of his family, unfortunately. But they are not mean. they're not seeking, neither dog is seeking to be mean. Okay. Neither dog seeks to be mean, but at the same time, um, they will stay in their it's quite interesting, they will stay in their kennels at the behest of myself, at the request of myself, at my desire. However, they can both easily break and bust through their cage, which I consider to be excellent. I remember when I was lamenting, like I remember I used to be extremely worried. I don't have this worry anymore because I had a canine. I believe I had the canine at the time, and I was really distraught because I kept the canine in their kennel, in his or her kennel. I forget who this canine was, and I was concerned that if ever something were to go awry, like for example, sometimes you allow someone on the premises, on the property, but then something goes very wrong. And I was concerned that my dog would have no recourse because he or she is locked up in the kennel. And that dog was I do believe that at that time, that dog was extremely well trained. So that dog would just be in the kennel and distressed. But now I'm actually quite relieved because God is good. The two dogs that we have currently, they will absolutely stay in their kennel, provided that the person or people do not act crazy. But if that changes, they will absolutely leave their kennel. So I no longer have that concern. So, quadrant 2 and 4 are the quadrants, as you can see marked on this floor plan. This is the master bedroom. This is door number 4. It's the primary living and sleeping area where our family resides. This is what I call the gauntlet stylization for preliminary security strategy. I do live by myself. I am the one that creates the protection strategy plan for my family as head of household. Okay, and I am female, born that way. This was unfortunately inspired by Jean-Benet Ramsey, who I try to take care of my beloveds in a way that is honorable to her untimely and unnecessary death. Because if you can remember her case, her bedroom was in such a place where she would have been both easily accessible to an intruder, and getting help to her would have been difficult because her bedroom was far off from her parents. And as you can see, I've tried to do everything possibly because that was just so gut-wrenching to have the complete opposite setup for my beloved family. Okay. And it's also biblically inspired, as you can remember Jacob. If you read the Bible, Jacob/Israel, Israel placed his beloveds as far back as he possibly could when he did not know if his brother, who could have been very extremely angry enough to kill, he prayed to God that after, he put his beloveds in the furthest back that he possibly could. So if his brother decided to be so angry that he would be willing to murder, that they would have a chance to get away. Okay. And this is inspired by those two cases. So I hope it's helpful to you. It is the preliminary security strategy for the Blackwell family. That's us. We do live in the hood. Now, please understand, I am not delusional. I understand that these are security measures and precautions. They do not ensure security. They're preliminary strategy, meaning like hopefully, with all these measures in place. But please understand, you can also use additional measures to protect yourself and your beloveds, okay? And for some of you, like I really suggest you, especially if you have money to your disposal, that you consult a security strategist as soon as possible. Okay. So is there anything else? I guess not. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. I hope that you found it interesting. I'll include some other things because this is not the end. So and I apologize because I made it sound like it's the end. So let's go into some other things. So the last, not some, but like the last measure of strategy, I will show you some of, well, the dogs. Okay. Okay, so this is our German Shepherd dog, our male German Shepherd dog, Gunner, and he is the canine that is stationed in quadrant 1 and 3 of the house floor plan. And this is our purebred American Pit Bull Terrier. He's not paper Gucci, and he'll be 2 in December, so he's will be fully grown. And he is the canine that is in our sleeping area in quadrant number 4 of our floor plan. This pouch is extremely, I love this pouch. It holds my cell phone. It can allow a full 360, almost full 360. Well, not quite, because I guess the 2 sides, but the spike cam, as reviewed, is always used by me for a frontal view. I suppose I could get another one, and hopefully I would get the 360 clip, and that could provide a rear view. But for now, I am not only able to use this pouch for, it's an excellent pouch, by the way. I rate it excellent. I totally think you should get it. That is if it's your style and you're wearing a body cam. I presume that you might as well wear this too. So this pouch allows me to put it on my arm, exactly the bicep, and from that vantage point, I can turn it around. I can fold down, as you see in the image, the sleeve, and when I do that, it allows the face of the camera to show on my phone, and I can do a rear view. However, I consider it crude. But I can utilize this strategy in the interim until I secure a camera that is good at, and I can use it for rear view recording simultaneously. I do not suggest that you utilize just a single camera for frontal and rear view. Now, I believe some might think this paranoid. I feel if you are looking on the market for a personal body cam outside of recreational purposes, then it makes sense. You should have both. You should have a frontal and a rear view. So my ending comments in regards to the gauntlet stylization of our preliminary security strategy. So to describe it, it utilizes 2 or more barriers as I demonstrated with the floor plan that I drew. It requires, our personal one requires trained dogs. Our dogs are not trained to be mean. And they are not highly trained, but one is a service dog for our specific needs. As you can see, he does elopement. He provides sensory barrier, as well as elopement discouragement, and then and also a extremely highly trained service dog could cost several $1,000s. So we are mitigating a very real financial obstacle there as well. And I do that unapologetically. I try to maximize everything that I have, and I'm grateful for everything that I have. And I try to give it purpose and make it efficient, and I don't apologize for that. So this is the reality of our dogs, but they are trained. They're not completely untrained. Now, can you have dogs, like, for example, what if you don't have that? Like, we consider that an asset that, I am a little good at, training dogs plus the dog's natural capabilities. But what if you don't have that? Is it wrong for you to want to maximize what you have? Absolutely not. You can have untrained dogs, but it'll be harder, I'll say, to get them in the kennel when you need them to be in the kennel. But for the most part, you can have two untrained dogs that you utilize, and hopefully they would step up. So you can prevent security doomsday by also employing, as I said previously in this video, lethal weapons, a weapon, or lethal weapon or weapons throughout or at the final stage of the gauntlet. So, what is a security doomsday? Okay, and please understand this is all unique verbiage. I am not the army or anything like that, and I don't have that historical experience. And I'm not posing as a security consultant, but I am a woman that is the head of household, and I do live in a very dangerous neighborhood. And this is basically the setup that I have. So I'm just being transparent as an interest point because I am interested in security. I think it's pretty cool and it's a necessity and it might bless someone. Okay. So the security doomsday. Oh, and that's to say that these don't look for this verbiage in formal consultant situations because they're going to have their professional verbiage. I am just a layperson who is utilizing security strategies. Okay, so the security doomsday is a term I made up. It's a security scenario where barriers are breached and neutralized, and there is no enforcement beyond the breached, neutralized assets. So, don't like how we cannot, and I've assessed the floor plan, and I don't necessarily like how we can't easily climb out of the back window in the master bedroom. But then I put LOL because I also have not tested it, you know. I have not tested it, and I probably should. I probably, you know what? Come next holiday, probably next Thanksgiving, I probably will test whether we actually can get out of this window next to me if we absolutely needed to. And that would also enable us to allow one dog or both dogs out of the window also, if we needed to get them out those windows. So I'm gonna try to get that done as the head of household on Thanksgiving. If I had a husband, I would ask him to do it. But since I'm the head of household, I guess it's my responsibility to make sure, actually not make sure, but like because I don't, it's not a house. So, but to see, at least it's good to know if we can or cannot easily get out of this window. So the gauntlet style, loved ones strategically placed in the back of the home. There should be, I suggest there should be a charged cell phone 24/7 in this area of the house to increase protection. I suggest there should be some cash and some money and some extra keys and possibly some extra leashes, which we don't have. We don't even have these things. But as I was looking at the floor plan, that's why I think it's good to to really look at the black and white of your preliminary security strategy, because you may see some flaws. And that's good because I noticed we don't have extra leashes in the back of our home. We keep all our leashes in the front. But what if someone was neutralized and we wanted to get out of the environment quickly and perhaps even take our dogs with us? Well, we don't have any leashes in the back. We also don't have cash in the back. We also don't have money. Well, we don't have keys, an extra key in the back. So another way I would suggest, especially if you're into gear like I am, you can put an extra key on the actual dog. And matter of fact, I put keys on my dog so often, they may actually be wearing keys and I don't know. But that's a given. If your dog is going to wear a vest, if your dog is going to wear this type of gear, you might as well utilize it. You know, make use of it. Give it a purpose. Put extra keys and perhaps even cash on your dog, you know? And that's just a thought. So I hope that this satisfied someone's curiosity if you're into protection or you are curious. Are there any hardcore chicks out there that are living in dangerous environments and are into protection and dogs? Yes, there is. I am one of them. Okay. And for some of you, you may want to literally act on a lot of what I'm saying. And I am glad if that is the case that my information has blessed you. So please remember that there are various types of properties, estates, and needs as listed in the description box. And just because my floor plan doesn't look like yours, I know that many of you, you're smart, and you know that you can utilize a lot of the basic, gist of what I am utilizing for my beloveds. And you can do the same for yourself and for your beloveds also. So may you be blessed and stay safe in Jesus' name. Bye.